then for the main event, we had the Usos of the Bloodline versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Again, um, I think one of the most interesting stories in WWE is the Bloodline feud and the involvement of Sami Zayn and later on Kevin Owens in the Bloodline feud, right? So, as we know, this match and the storyline has been built up perfectly because Sami Zayn, if you don't know, is part of the Bloodline, but because he couldn't do the Bloodline's um, bad deeds, he 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 removed himself from the equation, the Bloodline, and he wanted the help of Kevin Owens and later on Cody Rhodes to take down the Bloodline, right? And this is where we're at right now. So it's the Usos versus KO and Sami Zayn for the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships. So the match started out with Zayn and Jay initially doing some exchanges, and then Jay eventually got heat on Sami, and eventually Sami, after making his comeback, was able to tag Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens did his usual spots like the cannonball to the floor cannonball from the ring to the floor, and then he did his frog splash to one of the Usos. But then Jay Uso countered with the neck breaker, which was then sequenced by a swanton bomb done by Kevin Owens to Jay, and then thereafter it was after KO had done that, one of the Usos, Jimmy Uso, splashed KO and then covered Kevin Owens, but Kevin Owens kicked out. Kevin Owens did his turnbuckle cannonball spot which looked very good, and then he did another swanton bomb to Jimmy, and then Jimmy kicked out. So a lot of sequential spots, if you will, here, and a lot of fast action, just modern wrestling, I think, which the crowd, I think, enjoyed. And then to fit then thereafter, Sami Zayn actually did what we call an Uso splash on Jimmy. So he did the move of the Usos on Jimmy Uso, and at this point they were really into Sami Zayn because again, Sami has gotten himself over because he has done really good work with the Bloodline, and you can't help root for a guy who looks like that. He's not the biggest guy. He looks scrawny as hell. And he doesn't have the biggest physique, but he works well, and he's good on the mic, and people really like getting behind the underdog babyface, and he's the epitome of the underdog babyface. And going back to the match, Jimmy tags Jay, and then they did their patented tag team super kicks on Sami Zayn, get heat on Zayn. Again, Zayn continued to get beat up on. They went to the floor. After that, the Usos slammed Kevin Owens also onto the announce table, so it wasn't looking good for Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens at this point. Then the Usos did the 1D, their 1D finisher, their finisher, tag team finisher on Sami Zayn. They covered him, but after the cover, Zayn kicked out, and I think the announcer made an interesting point here that this was the first time that anybody's ever kicked out of the 1D. And I think they were flabbergasted. Jay and Jimmy didn't think that Sami could kick out for that one, so they did the dramatic spot in the corner where Jay held Sami by the beard, saying, "Why won't you quit? I thought you were my brother," all that blah blah blah. And Jay then returns the favor and hits Sami with his own finishing maneuver, the Helluva kick. But then Zayn eventually counters, hits an exploder suplex to Jay onto the buckle, which looked great. He tags Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens does a pop-up powerbomb to both the Usos. Another haluva kick by Sami Zayn, and then after that, thinking this was the finish to the match, KO did, or KO gave a stunner to Jey Uso, but again Jey kicked out, and after that, when they kicked out, they did the usual four-man face-off in the ring, and at this point, the crowd were on their feet and cheering for these two tag teams who've been engaged in a war, right? So, um, then there was a spot that the Usos did a double Uso splash onto Kevin Owens, but again, Kevin Owens kicked out, and at this point, the crowd was still into it. Owens made his comeback, and from the top rope, he hit an amazing fisherman suplex to Jey, on Jey, right? And then he tagged Sami Zayn. He does he gets the crowd fired up. He makes one haluva kick to Jey Uso, two haluva kicks to Jey Uso, and the third haluva kick to Jey Uso, and the crowd popped like crazy and popped so hard for Sami Zayn, and he covered Jey 1, 2, 3. And that was the match. Sami Zayn and KO are your new WWE Undisputed Universal Tag Team Champions. And overall, I think it was a great match, but I just thought it went a little bit too long. I think they could have finished the match when Zayn did the haluva kick, right? Or KO did the stunner towards the end of the match. I think it went a little too long, but again, maybe we'll give them a pass because it's WrestleMania. Overall, it had like great false finishes, and it definitely had the right ending, and it had the right people involved there at the end. Meaning, this started off as a story between essentially Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, and the fact that they let Sami Zayn kick the living shit off Jey's head, I thought told a very good story, and I thought at this point close the chapter on KO and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. But apparently you will learn later on that it did not close that chapter yet. But overall, I think that was the perfect finish to the match. It just went a little bit too long, but overall it was a good match, and I loved. I think the cherry on the top was the facial expressions of Sami Zayn and KO finally getting that tag team championship, because it was the first tag team championship together, and reaching it and doing it at WrestleMania. And KO just had the right facial expressions when the camera hit his face. You could see like genuine tears coming from the wife of Sami Zayn. Like it was, it suspended disbelief, and you thought they were really going up against the top team, and you just thought it was real. And that's all you could ever ask for in wrestling. And I think they did a really good job here. So, yeah, that was night 1 of WrestleMania 39. I hope you enjoy that review, guys. And again, if you like this series of videos, you can always press the like button down below. And if you want to see more content like this, and if you want to stay tuned for my review of WrestleMania 39, night 2, you can always subscribe to my channel for future content. And if you have thoughts about my reviews, or if you have your own thoughts about the matches, you can always drop down below, and I'll try to get to your comments as soon. I mean, you can drop your comments down below, and I'll try to get to these comments as soon as I can. This is the Casual Wrestling Review, and this is your casual wrestling fan. Till next time.